Colonel Kurt Schlichter is a dear friend and a guy that knows very, very specifically something about what's going on, the chaos in this very part of the country in which he has called home, and he has also served honorably. Colonel Kurt Schlichter is a senior columnist at Town Hall. He is a best-selling author. His latest with his lovely wife, Irina, is called Lost Angeles, fittingly, Lost Angeles, Silver Bullets on the Sunset Strip. And the most important thing I think about Colonel Kurt Schlichter, besides being a prolific author and writer, is his service to country. And he quite literally served in the capacity of the very unit that is serving at present, called up by Donald Trump to quell the violence in Los Angeles. Colonel, you're all too familiar with this. Good morning. Welcome back.
Hi, Chris. It's, boy, what an interesting day.
Yeah. You're home, right? You're in L.A.?
Yeah, I'm in L.A., but look, let's understand what's going on here. First of all, these are very small demonstrations. It looks like there's a big crowd. There's freaking 20 million people in Los Angeles. Okay, maybe there's 10,000 maximum of these schmucks, these semi-human, foreigner-aligned dirtbags who are running a very clever kind of operation in very small areas, like the footage that you're seeing now. That's downtown. I've been there many times. It's near the federal courthouse. It's a very small area. It's very remote. They want to give the impression to the rest of the United States that all of Los Angeles is in chaos. It isn't. We're going through our lives normally here and 99% of Los Angeles. What they're attempting to do is leverage friendly regime media coverage to try and make it look like there's some sort of massive outpouring of support for illegal alien dirtbags. There isn't. There is a concentrated effort in certain areas, planned, funded, very well executed, and with the connivance of the regime media to try and demonstrate an image that doesn't really exist. The population is not massively outraged by the federal government attempting to enforce the laws that our Congress passed and our presidents at the time signed. So understand that part of it.
Yes. May I ask you about the engagement of the National Guard? That's something that I think, you hear Democrats say, well, that's Gavin Newsom's business. If Gavin Newsom wants to do that, that's his job to do, not Donald Trump's. You say, what about that?
He certainly could have done it. I wrote the first law review article on the use of civil support or military support to civil operations back in like 1992, I think. And I've been doing this for a while. I was out in the Los Angeles riots with the 3rd Battalion, 160th Infantry out of Inglewood in the LA riots, first on the street, last out. I was also out for the Northridge earthquake, and I commanded northern San Diego County forces in 2007 during the fire crisis. I had 2 battalions, really, at the time. I was deputy commander of the 79th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, sometimes acting commander, which is the main infantry unit that's been called up. And it's interesting why they called up infantry, okay? They didn't call military police in. And they didn't. The reason I believe that they did that is because these guys are not out practicing law enforcement. What they're doing is point security. That means they're actually defending locations. That's why you see them standing around and not patrolling. So they're not actually enforcing the law, which gets you around a posse comitatus problem. Posse comitatus is a law that says you can't use federal troops to enforce criminal laws except under certain circumstances. And it's kind of complex. But I want you to understand, when people start talking about posse comitatus, assume they're wrong, because none of them know what they're talking about.
So to be clear, the men and women, or mostly men, I don't know, that Trump sent in, they're there to be a presence, but they're not arresting people or anything like that.
No, they're not trained or equipped to do that too. They're infantry. I've seen, looks to me like 1st of the 160th Infantry, probably 1st of the 184, maybe 1st of the 185 Infantry, probably 1st of the 18th Cavalry, which I commanded, is out there. I would assume And you see how they're equipped. It's there are a couple riot shields here and there, but most and riot sticks. You can see a stick in the hand of the guy with I think he's probably 184. They are not out there to do police things. They're out there to free up police to do police things. Right.
So they'll fire. What can they do? Like, I know CNN. I was joking this morning. CNN is already making out one of their reporters or some reporter hit by a rubber bullet. That's coming next. Law enforcement is firing on journalists or whatever. But yeah.
Well, I mean, like, you want to shoot a journalist? Oh no, don't threaten me with a good time. Look how they're equipped. Okay, they do have sticks. They can hit you over the head. Although you're not supposed to hit people in the head. I wonder why. They're equipped with M4 rifles. They're a security presence. They're not out there to bust people. Okay? They're not out there to march and disperse rioters. They're infantry. Infantry closes on the enemy and kills them through superior firepower. That's what infantry does.
Trump said, "You spit, we hit." What is the rule? Like, a guy in the National Guard, he's there, all right, he's in the street, and somebody's throwing rocks at him or spitting or throwing bottles of urine at him. What can he do, literally, legally? What can he do?
Well, look, there are rules of engagement that guide how they can respond to various threats. And I'm not going to talk about the rules of engagement. Okay. A, I don't know them. B, if I did know them, I wouldn't tell anybody. Yeah. But it's designed to make sure that the force used matches the force they're faced with. Obviously, they have the right to defend themselves. If they came under gunfire, in a general sense, they'd be probably authorized to return fire. I assume that there are rounds in those magazines. I don't think we play the dumb game that we played a long time ago, which was send people out with no bullets. No.
Colonel, here's what I noted earlier this morning, and they're not necessarily related, but I think we're at this interesting time in the country, as Pete Hegseth calls it, the warrior ethos. We have smashed these recruitment records all of a sudden. The course correction at the Defense Department has been massive. Trump's going to these UFC events. He did again just this weekend. It's like there's this return, and you wrote about this, by the way. The Democrats have a man problem. Masculinity, strength, warriors, recruitment is up versus this anarchy. Is this a response? I guess, where is the country? Where is the voter? Do you think the voter will reward the chaos and anarchy as has been the case in the past? Or has the country shifted to law and order?
I think this is, look, if I was a cynical political operator, this would thrill me. This is the best thing that could ever happen to Trump politically, which allows him to show strength. Remember what he's doing by having the guard out. The guard. Oh, you're throwing gasoline on a fire. No, what you're doing is allowing the actual cops to go out there and arrest people. Okay, because they're not guarding buildings. But it's also sending a message. All this is about sending a message. What they're doing in the riots, you have to understand what they're doing in the riots, throwing rocks, blocking occasional freeways, marching around, has zero tactical effect. It doesn't decrease federal government combat power. It doesn't increase their combat power. It achieves no actual objective. This is entirely an information operation. It's not kinetic. Okay, it's not about shooting. It's not about holding ground. It's not about any of that. It is entirely an information operation. And if you understand that, then you understand why you call the Guard. It messages strength and resolution. Same with the Marines. And I like the way they call the Guard first, and then they're going to escalate by calling in the Marines. Although, Army, of course, is the decisive element of military force.
Kash Patel, Colonel, here's Kash Patel's post. Just so we're clear, the FBI needs no one's permission to enforce the Constitution. My responsibility is to the American people, not political punchlines. L.A. is under siege by marauding criminals, and we will restore law and order. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, posted Kash Patel.
Exactly. Remember, information operation. Okay, that's what this is. And it's also a golden opportunity. There are networks out there of funders, organizers, supporters, suppliers out there that need to be identified during this period. And we have a luxury of time. We're not, they have to operate in a very short time frame because they have to make the next news cycle. We have time to figure out who these people are, to indict them, and to arrest them.
Okay, let me go to Karen Bass here, the mayor of Los Angeles, 2392, if you would, Polly, to get the colonel's reaction to the mayor there.
I don't think that is a way to bring peace in Los Angeles. I think that our law enforcement officers can handle this situation, but I just have to repeat again, it's a feeling here of intention.
Yeah, our law enforcement agencies can handle it. Is she right? Can their law enforcement agencies handle it? Did they need the National Guard, Colonel?
It's not a matter of handling it. They don't want to. It's an information operation. What they want to do is highlight the chaos, because highlighting the chaos right now is useful. So it's not a matter of handling it. They don't want to handle it. What they want to do is
you're saying Trump is crushing their show. You're saying this is a show they want to continue for a long time. Trump crushes the show.
Well, they want to continue it to make Trump look weak and less powerful, and to demonstrate that there is a massive threatening force out there in support of illegal aliens. So you should shut up and do what you're told. Donald Trump seems to understand how to disrupt their color revolution paradigm, because he's not behaving the way they usually behave. Understand this. It's a mommy-daddy issue. The Democrats do the mommy thing and tolerate the crap. He's doing the daddy thing and not tolerating it. But he's not doing. He's not out there drunk and hitting people with sticks, right?
Yeah.
I hate to give.
Sorry, Colonel. I hate to ever talk too much about Gavin Newsom as a thoughtful person, but we do know he probably wants to run for president. We know he's tried to moderate himself with these interviews with conservatives on his podcast. But yet here again, here's total chaos. Again, much like the fires. I mean, the guy's a disaster. Between the fires and now this, it's like this guy can't possibly have a future politically, can he?
No, I don't think he does. This works. This works when you can convince people that they have no choice but to go along. And as long as there's resistance out there, they can't make that. Guys like Gavin Newsom now looks weak, right? Gavin Newsom looks like Trump's running over him, and the scumbag protesters and rioters are running over him. He just looks weak. And, you know, normal people look at this and they associate him with the chaos. The fact that look, what he wanted to do was fold. Okay, he wanted to give them a victory, and frankly, get this off the front page. That's not happening now. So every day he looks weaker. He looks irrelevant. He's sitting there fuming because Trump took his National Guard. They work for the governor until federalized. Out from under him, and Trump's just simply ignoring all his girlish whining. America doesn't want the kind of chaos that Gavin Newsom supplies. This is,
you know what it reminds me of, and I wasn't around for it, but it's what I studied and what I read when the National Guard was sent in to allow black children into white schools in the South.
Yes.
Did the country back then say, this president is outrageous, he's escalating violence in the South? That wasn't the political takeaway back then, was it?
The Democrats did. The Democrats said it was terrible. Right. Yeah, they're always very, very when the prospect for losing their servant class arises, they get very, very uppity and scared. Yeah. No, it's the same thing. No, look, if you go out and look at the polls are showing Trump's approval is rising. Trump's approval on immigration is rising. See, what this offers is a stark choice. It's submission or resistance to the illegal alien flood. And in the past, you had weak-willed Republicans, and you still have some today, who really won't resist. So you have no choice but to submit. Trump is providing a stark choice. You can resist. We're going to guard our facilities, and we're going to send our federal police out there and arrest these scumbags.
And Colonel,
so now
and by the way,
safely stay outside with resistance.
By the way, I want you to go to townhall.com and get Colonel Kurt Schlichter's 3 times a week brilliant writing. But that book behind you, over your shoulder, that you've written with your lovely wife called Lost Angeles, your timing is always impeccable. What a title for a book. Lost Angeles, Silver Bullets on the Sunset Strip. Pick it up. Another bestseller. So grateful for your time, my friend. I'm grateful that you stuck around for another segment. Thank you so much.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.